Welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal channel. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. Arsenal made a bid for a new midfielder, a player that plays in the same position as Thomas Partey. This is according to The Athletic. Arsenal have sent in an €11 million bid to Brentford for their midfielder, Christian Norgaard. Does that mean that Thomas Partey's decision has been made? Does that mean that Arsenal are now closer to accepting that Partey is going? And Christian Norgaard, is it a guy that comes in and replaces Jorginho or Thomas Partey? How good is this guy? How reliable? And why are Arsenal going for another defensive midfielder when we have that profile? Why aren't we going in some kind of different direction? Maybe signing number 8, someone like a number 10, someone a little bit different. Let's discuss all that and more in this video. But it is confirmed, breaking story, David Ornstein has confirmed that Arsenal have made a bid for 31-year-old Christian Norgaard. So this is according to David Ornstein, who says that Arsenal are exploring a deal to sign Christian Norgaard from Brentford. Arsenal proposal for 31-year midfielder is €11 million, and they're waiting for Brentford to reply. Denmark international are contracted until 2027, but keen among options amid potential Partey exit, as reported by David Ornstein and confirmed via The Athletic. So there you have it. Breaking story, big breaking story for Arsenal. We have made a bid for another player, and that makes it 3 players that Arsenal have sent bids in. And I mean, the 3 players that we have tried to sign, we have signed. We have signed Zubimendi, we have signed Kepa. Could Christian Norgaard be the 3rd signing of the summer for Arsenal? But most importantly, what does this mean for the Thomas Partey situation? And that's where I want us to begin. Before we talk about Christian Norgaard, let's talk about Thomas Partey. On Monday, I reported and said we are going to definitely see the Thomas Partey decision made. We are going to get that final decision from Thomas Partey and his representatives, and we shall also know what is the list looking like for players to replace Thomas Partey. And I remember a few people saying, because you don't like Partey, that's why you're saying that this week is going to be going. I didn't say he was going to be gone. I said that there is a potential exit, and this week we would know whether Partey is going to go or stay. And Arsenal making a bid for Christian Norgaard tells you everything you need to know about the Thomas Partey situation and the contract situation as well. If he was going to stay, if he was going to be an Arsenal player next season, why would Arsenal try to sign a player who is the same age as Thomas Partey after signing Martin Zubimendi? Why would we go and bid for a player the same age as Thomas Partey, 31, and he plays in the same position? I mean, I know Mikel Arteta is really obsessed with such kind of profiles, but when you have Partey and you have Zubimendi and you have Declan Rice and you have Mikel Merino, you don't have any reason to add Christian Norgaard. So the reason as to why Arsenal are making a bid for Christian Norgaard, I'm sorry to break this to you, is because they feel and they believe that Thomas Partey might actually leave the club. And if Brentford come out and say, we are willing to sell Christian Norgaard for about 12 or 15 million euros, that is about a 4 million euro difference in valuation, this deal is going to happen, right? This deal is going to happen. And Arsenal know with Christian Norgaard, he's not already earning a lot of money at Brentford. That's number 1. The player is keen to join us. He's going to demand less wages, significantly less wages than Thomas Partey. Why don't you do such a deal, right? And I think this is what Arsenal are thinking about. So for me, the Thomas Partey situation has just been made clear. Yes, we do not have an announcement from Partey or from Arsenal that Partey is going. But at the end of this month, Thomas Partey will be out of contract at Arsenal. That's number 1. Number 2, Arsenal have given him an offer on the table, and they've told him, we are not going to raise that offer. We're not raising that offer. If you want to stay, stay. If you want to go, we're sorry. That is how much we're offering. And they're asking him to take a pay cut, and Partey is not having it. Partey is saying, I'm not taking a pay cut. I've had one of the best seasons at Arsenal last campaign. That is not going to be rewarded by me taking a pay cut. Now, the Christian Norgaard story as well could be a a move by Arsenal to try and pressure Partey and his management into making a decision very quickly. I think it was James McNicholas on Monday again. He came out and said Arsenal don't have a lot of money to replace Partey like for like. And what he was trying to say there is that Arsenal don't want to spend about 40 million, 50 million on a new DM to replace Partey. They've already signed Martin Zubimendi, so they would rather spend a smaller portion of the budget than, keep Partey at very, very high wages. And Christian Norgaard fits the profile of what James McNicholas was saying. A cheaper player at 11 million euros or more, maybe 15 million euros, that's good. This is another Jorginho signing, right? I think what Mikel Arteta doesn't want, he doesn't want to have this situation where Zubimendi is unavailable and then he has to call on to Declan Rice, because that causes a shift in the midfield, a shift in the way we set up. He wants Norgaard and Zubimendi to be the two defensive midfield options. So when you don't have Zubimendi, you have Christian Norgaard on the pitch. If you don't have Christian Norgaard on the pitch, you have Martin Zubimendi on the pitch. That is the kind of relationship Mikel was trying to build with Partey and Zubimendi. But Arsenal are not giving Partey the wages he's asking for, and therefore he has to go. Now, how do I feel about this? Again, I want us to talk about Christian Norgaard. I want to share my thoughts on Christian Norgaard, but how do I feel about this, and how do you feel about this in the comment box below? Let me know. Well, listen, Norgaard is such an experienced player, and Martin Zubimendi is such a high-level machine. Signing Zubimendi and Christian Norgaard in the same summer and losing Partey and Jorginho is catastrophic, because you're losing the core of your team. You're basically losing the identity, the midfield identity of your team in one window. And you're bringing in guys, new guys, that you do not know whether are going to work out or not. So it's a big risk. It's a big risk in a summer where Arsenal have to go for win-now players. It's a big risk in a summer where Arsenal next season are putting pressure on Mikel Arteta, and everyone around us is putting pressure on us. We must win. It's a big decision, and it's a very, very, very risky one. But Christian Norgaard replacing Jorginho, I kind of understand that. I don't want to look at this in the perspective of Norgaard comes in to replace Partey, because then that is bad. That, no way, there is no way you're convincing me that Christian Norgaard replaces Partey. Because if that is the case, then Norgaard would be starting games week in, week out, and Zubimendi would be sitting on the bench, kind of occupying that Jorginho role in the squad. We all know that is not the case. So Zubimendi is coming in as a Partey replacement. And yes, although he might not put in those defensive numbers that Partey puts in, he's one of those players that are very safe, and when he's on the ball, the team is safe, and when other players are on the ball, he makes them feel safe as well. That is number one. Number two, the other thing I want to say with Martin Zubimendi, I hope this is right, honestly, is that at 26, you've signed a player in his prime, and apart from injuries, nothing can stop him. Right, I mean, adapting to the Premier League, that is another thing. He might come in and things don't work out. But I think he's one of those players that Arsenal are getting, and they know down there they're getting a quality player. So yes, Zubimendi can replace Partey. And now if it's Christian Norgaard replacing Jorginho, beautiful signing, wonderful signing. So this is about framing. If you frame it in the way that Arsenal are losing Partey and sending Norgaard, that is a very bad side. But if you frame it as Jorginho goes to Flamengo and Arsenal send Christian Norgaard from Brentford, an experienced player who's been playing in the Premier League, he's been starting almost every game for Brentford, for one of the best managers in the Premier League, in Thomas Frank, then that makes the deal not so much terrible. It makes it not ecstatic really, but it makes sense, honestly. At the end of the day, it actually makes sense. Okay, so Christian Norgaard, Who is this guy? How good is this guy? And what should we be expecting? And why are Arsenal going for him? That's what I want to talk about. Norgaard is Norwegian, so he's played with Norgaard on a couple of on a couple of occasions, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he's Danish. Is it? Oh, okay, he's Danish. He's Danish. He's not Norwegian. He's Danish. All this time, I've been saying he's Norwegian. Sorry about that. He is a Denmark international. I just read it a couple of minutes ago. How could I forget? Danish international. This is an experienced player, and I think what Mikel Arteta is going for here is the profile of Christian Norgaard and his experience. Denmark in the last 5 years have played some interesting football. Right from Euro 2020, was it? The one that Italy won. They're putting some interesting displays. And at the heart of that midfield, alongside players like Mikkel Damsgaard, you have what's his name again? Just. You have Christian Norgaard, right? You have Christian Norgaard. It just skipped my mind. You have Christian Norgaard. So he's experienced, he's Premier League proven, right? And he's 31. He's not going to play a lot of minutes. So this is not a player that you're bringing in to literally eat up all the minutes in the Premier League and in the Champions League. No. He's a player that is going to cover for Zubimendi in the FA Cup, cover for Zubimendi in the Carabao Cup, cover for Zubimendi here and there. And I also think that Mikel Arteta is interested in the build. This guy is huge and tall, right? He's huge and tall. I wish I could show you his exact build. Yeah, that's how he looks like. You know, he looks like Mikel Merino. He looks like Declan Rice. He looks like a giant. And we know Mikel Arteta and trying to make his midfielders big and building a midfield giant, right? He is a big fan of that. So what you should expect out of Christian Norgaard is a player that is going to bring in enough quality, but he won't be needed to play every single day. You don't need him to play every single time. He's that kind of player. He won't play every single time. He doesn't have to play every single time, but he can rise to the occasion when you need him, and he's a very, very good player. Honestly, this doesn't make the Thomas Partey departure easier. In any case, it makes it harder because we love Thomas Partey. We would love to keep Thomas Partey. As the Arsenal fan base, we would love to keep Thomas Partey. Do I really feel safe having Zubimendi and Norgaard come in to replace Jorginho and Partey? We're signing two very talented midfielders. We're signing two very good midfielders. And me being afraid, you know, shouldn't take anything away from the quality Arsenal getting this summer in those two. But I am still afraid. I'm still afraid. I think it comes from that position where you're used to Thomas Partey, and whenever Arsenal having Thomas Partey on the pitch, everything's going to be safe, everything's going to be okay. And now Partey's going, and the next best thing to Partey has been Jorginho in that position, and he's also left as well. And it feels like a downgrade, right? It feels like a downgrade. I don't know. Is Zubimendi really a downgrade to Partey? I think in some areas he is, but he's also a massive upgrade to Thomas Partey in some areas of the pitch, right? So their game is different, but that doesn't make Zubimendi endless. But I'm still scared. I am still paranoid. We might not have the quality that this team needs to go and lift the trophy. Partey staying and Zubimendi arriving, that would have been the best combination, right? That would have been the best combination. But I also understand Andrea Barca. I also understand Arsenal. As the fans are asking for heavy metal signings, you're going to have to splash heavy metal wages. And that tells you everything you need to know. You might need to let go of some of the fringe players that are on big wages. So Arsenal made a bid for Christian Norgaard, and after Kepa, after Zubimendi, Arsenal could sign Christian Norgaard this summer as well.